Someone else's attention does not define whether or not you're lovable or whether or not you're worthy. Your worth and whether or not you're lovable is determined by whether or not you think you're worthy and lovable. What up, everybody? I have to share this with you. What was the question? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I gotta stop and get some cheap chicken for the dog because he's got diarrhea. Just because we're virtual doesn't mean it can't be amazing. Whoa! Hey, how are you? This one is from Angela. She's 37 and the mother of 2. And she writes, I need your help to start living my life for me without the constant fear of being judged. And I need to take the next steps to finally finish filing for divorce and not fear what is on the other side, to make a decision without questioning every outcome. I'm tired of living in the past, but so scared of the future ahead. You want to know something interesting? This is so interesting. You can file for divorce and still be afraid. You see, there's the action that you need to take. And then there's the feeling you have about it. And notice I'm holding up 2 hands because the actions you need to take can be separate from the feelings that you have about them. You don't have to be happy about filing for a divorce. You don't have to be excited about it. You don't have to feel confident about it. You don't have to feel certain. You just have to do it. And the reason why you have to do it is because the only thing that disappears fear and doubt is action. And the more that you sit there and you think about it, the more you're going to doubt yourself. Why? Because the only thing that disappears doubt and fear is action. You will not think away your fear. You will not think away your doubt. The only thing that disappears fear and self-doubt is action. I get that you're afraid. File the paperwork anyway. Why? Because you cannot embrace the future you deserve without letting go of the past you hate. Of course it's uncertain. Of course you're afraid. Do it anyway. All right, let's go to the next question. Here we go. This one is from Erin. Let's see if you can relate to this one.
And my question and challenge that I'm having is staying productive with all of the interruptions I get from my 2 kids who are learning at home, my husband who's also working virtually from home, texts from my retired parents who have nothing to do, and other family members that just pepper me throughout the day. And how might you help me stay productive with all of these distractions and interruptions?
Okay, distractions and interruptions. First of all, let's talk about the distractions and interruptions that you can manage, okay? If you are, this is just going to be super practical advice. If you want to get work done, you have to manage distractions and interruptions. So the tech stuff is easy. Put your computer or your phone on Do Not Disturb so that you can get work done. That's number 1. Number 2, if it's interruptions from family members, what the heck? Put a sign on your door. Do not disturb unless you're on fire. Or I'll be available in an hour unless it's an emergency. When we first started quarantining, my kids were so anxious and discombobulated, they would come in to my office at home every 10 minutes. Mom, how do I cook microwave popcorn? Mom, how much food do I feed the dog? Mom, is someone going to the grocery? Mom, can I? And you know what they were doing? A lot of times when people interrupt you, they're managing their own anxiety, boredom, procrastination by coming to interrupt you. They're creating reasons to interrupt their own work or their own emotional state by coming and interrupting you. That's what I realized was happening. Everybody was all discombobulated. We're underneath one roof. People are bored, frustrated, procrastinating, feeling anxious. And so what do you do if you can't sit still and you don't want to do what you're doing? You get up, and you can't drive to a coffee shop, and you can't go run an errand, and you can't go do so you go interrupt somebody. So I'm not kidding when I tell you, put a sign on the door. The other thing that you should do that is super helpful, I know this sounds terrible, but it works like a charm. On Sunday night, have a family meeting. Go over the week. Outline all of the things that you have coming up. And then you've got to take it a step further. I've been doing a tremendous number of virtual presentations for companies all over the world. And whenever I'm streaming online for a paid client, it's not enough to have previewed this for my family on Sunday. That takes care of who's picking people up and what needs to happen on Tuesday when I'm giving the presentation. But when I'm in the middle of it, nobody's going to remember that mom was not supposed to be interrupted. So you know what I do? I text everybody in our family group chat in all caps. I'm about to go online for a paid client. Do not call me. Do not. I will not pick up from 2 o'clock to 3:30. Thank you. I love you. And that has worked like a charm. You should hang something on the door. And you can have a sign that says you may enter, and then you should have a sign that says you may not, and then put a sticky note as to when you're going to be available again. That way, you are training somebody to stop and think before they walk in. You're training somebody to go, is this actually important, before they come to you. In terms of everything else, it's on you to hit the do not disturb. It's on you to send calls to voicemail. It's on you to turn off the notifications, because you simply can't work if those things are happening. You've got to manage the interruptions and distractions, period. Because if it's an emergency, it's not an interruption, it's an emergency. Everything else is an interruption. And distractions are on you. Super excited. We got incredible questions today. Is going to spin off a post that went absolutely crazy on social media. It's this quote right here. You think attention is love, and that's why you suffer so deeply. This quote hit me like, boom, right in the heart. Guilty as charged. This is why I suffer. It's totally true. If this quote hit you too, I want to hear about it in the comments. Basically, what this quote means in a nutshell is that you're seeking personal validation from other people. You're insecure, which is why you're seeking attention from other people. You have married the idea that you're worthy of love and you're worthy as a human being only as long as somebody else is validating that for you. And here's the thing I want to tell you. Love has nothing to do with whether or not you're getting somebody's attention. I really want to say that, because I love my husband, Christopher, more than anybody on the entire world, period. I'm not giving him my attention right now. I'm not. And the fact that he doesn't have my attention right now has zero impact on whether or not the man is loved, and it has zero impact on his self-worth. Someone else's attention does not define whether or not you're lovable or whether or not you're worthy. Your worth and whether or not you're lovable is determined by whether or not you think you're worthy and lovable. And so you want to untangle attention seeking from your self-worth. All of this has to do with how you interact with other people. And you went so crazy in the comments over this. I'm going to spend this question really answering some of the questions you said. Nicole wrote, for example, I see so much of this online on Instagram and Facebook. If this is you, you get validation from strangers online. How do you change this pattern? Well, first of all, it feels really, really good to get likes from other people online. It feels really good to be validated. We are social creatures. We are driven to connect. What I'm trying to get you see is that your self-worth isn't tied to somebody else liking you. Your self-worth is 100% sourced by what you think of yourself. And so what you could do is you could just become self-aware. Self-awareness is the key here, everybody. Before you're about to post, just ask yourself, am I posting this because it's something I actually want to say, or am I posting this because I really am dying and seeking attention here? If it's the latter and you're seeking attention, don't post it. Because when you post something like that, it just makes you feel insecure because you're going to rely on other people's reactions to validate what you just did. If you want to post this because it makes you feel freaking fantastic and you could give it if one person likes it or a million people like it, that validates you. It's all about the intent in what you're about to do. I love this question. Vanellope writes, well, what about those who have quality time as their love languages? Excellent question. That's my husband's love language, quality time and touch. Well, there's a really big difference between seeking attention in order to get validation and seeking connection. Seeking connection is something that you do to deepen your relationship with someone else. Seeking attention is something that you do in order to fill up your sense of self-worth. When it's about connection, it's about both of you. When it's about attention seeking, it's about your own validation. See the difference? I knew you would. And then Nat wrote, how do I stop feeling so insecure? You got to work on it. And, notice I keep using the word validate. What you need to build a skill in, if you feel like you're a very insecure person that's seeking validation from other people's attention, is you got to learn how to validate yourself. And there's a couple simple habits that I engage in. I call them the high five habits, because think about a high five. When you give someone a high five, you validate them. When you give someone a high five, you cheer them on. When you give someone a high five, you tell them they're worthy. The high five habits are a series of habits that I've developed that I do every morning so that I build the muscle of validating myself and giving myself what I need and telling myself that I'm worthy. And so number one, I wake up when the alarm rings, because when you set the alarm the night before, you're making a promise. You're basically saying tomorrow morning at 6:30 when this sucker goes off, you need to get out of bed, Mel. So when the alarm goes off at 6:30 the next morning, guess what I do? I keep the promise I made to myself and I get up. The next thing I do, I make my bed. Why? Well, because it's a way to practice discipline. I make the bed as a gift to myself, because that way when I walk in the room at some point during the day, there's not a mess there to stare at. It looks tidy and nice. And when I come back tonight, I've given myself a gift because I'm worthy of it. I have a nice bed to climb into and dream in, and it's lovely, and it's like a little gift. The next thing that I do, I keep a promise to move my body every day. It's a simple promise that I make and I keep to myself as a way to validate that I'm worthy of that. Another promise that I make, I never leave a bathroom without high-fiving my reflection, because it's a way to learn to cheer for myself. And another thing that you can do is you can ask yourself, what else do I need every day? Just a little something. That if I kept this promise, I would feel like I was the kind of person that I could rely on. Do you need to start meditating every day? Do you need to drink a cup of water before you drink a cup of coffee? Do you need to journal every day? Do you need to pray every day? I don't know. But there's something that you need to do every day that would make you feel like you're keeping promises to yourself, you're showing up for yourself, you're validating the things that are important. And when you see yourself taking those actions, that's what builds the muscle, because you're treating yourself the way that you wish somebody else was treating you. That's how you learn to love yourself. Remember, love is a verb. It's an action. So show yourself the actions that you wish somebody else would do. Because don't you wish somebody else climbed out of bed for you? Don't you wish somebody else made your bed just because they loved you? Don't you wish somebody high-fived you every day just because don't you wish somebody would be like, let's exercise because I love you? Don't you wish somebody would remind? Of course you do. So be that person for you. And that's how you learn to validate and love yourself. Awesome. All right, I love you. In case nobody else tells you, I love you. I believe in you and your ability to change your life. High five, baby. And I'll see you soon. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.